SmallBizDavid again, and we are discussing some additional questions from a document that you can find at sba.gov. SBA stands for Small Business Administration. It's a resource that you absolutely need to explore as you're starting a business. The sba.gov website has over 4,000 pages of information, and you can get any question from their perspective you want answered about starting a business, about growing your business. The SBA, their main function, and they are funded by you and I, taxpayers. They are a government operation. The Small Business Administration, and this is also a misunderstanding among a lot of business owners, they do not loan money. They are not a bank. They work with banks, the banks who will loan you the money, and the SBA will guarantee that loan to the bank. The banks love the SBA loan guarantee because there's less risk with their money at that point. And SBA loans can get up to 90% guarantee, depending upon the nature of the loan, the amount of the loan, and you, the individual who are attempting to get that loan. So I can't stress enough how important the SBA is. Most cities have SBA offices in them. Here in Cincinnati, we have a regional office from the Columbus office. Columbus office is about 100 miles away. The Cincinnati office, from a bureaucratic standpoint, is known to be a regional, Columbus regional SBA office. Also, too, when you're searching out the SBA office in your market, I am sure somehow you will come in contact with SCORE, S-C-O-R-E. If you've been following me the last week or so, you know that I talk a lot about SCORE. SCORE is another resource that you should take advantage of. It's a volunteer organization, mainly of retired executives. And if they are retired executives, they have anywhere from 20 to 40 plus years of business experience. So they are a great source of information of things that will work, things that won't work necessarily. It's a valuable resource. Back to the questionnaire of the sba.gov. Do you know what we talked about foreign legal ownership. Do you know why some consider business planning to be the most important factor determining business success? You heard me mention this. You need to plan. There's no question about it. The detailed plan that you need to present will fluctuate if, in fact, you're just getting a business started. You're going to use your own personal savings. You don't need a detailed business plan. But you do need a 5 sheets, 6 sheets, a written document. It needs to be in writing. Could be in your handwriting, as well as being typed. Obviously, if it's typed, it's probably easier to read. But you need to create a document for many reasons. First and foremost, when you're writing the answer or writing a document, you take time to think about what it is that needs to be put into writing. Putting it in writing then allows you to go back to it, to reread it, and to make changes when changes need to be made. So I'm not saying don't write a business plan. What I am saying is don't take a lot of time to write a very detailed business plan unless you're going to go outside to get investment in your company, where it will be required that you do a detailed plan. Nobody is going to loan you a lot of money unless you have a plan, or unless you have friends and relatives that have very deep pockets that will just give you the money. I haven't seen that happen, but it can happen. It happens. It happens. But create a plan that is a vision of your strategy and how you're going to accomplish your business goals and objectives. Do you know if your business will require a special license or permit and how to obtain it? That is, once again, you can go to sba.gov and they will clearly tell you what you need to do. Or at some point in time, you need to make an attorney a member of your inner circle. We call them, and we have a whole module dedicated to it, called Mentors of Entrepreneurship. Mentors of Entrepreneurship would be a team that you would create that would have an attorney, a small business attorney, a small business accountant or certified public accountant. Good thing to have would be a business strategist, a small business marketing person, a successful entrepreneur, someone who has a lot of experience and could be a member of your team, a technology person, a banker, and an insurance person specializing in business insurance. Those are key members of the team that we call Mentors of Entrepreneurship, and probably the very first members of that team that you will contact will be an attorney and or an accountant or certified public accountant. Do you know where to find demographic data and information about your customers? Good question. Any information is available via searching for that information. The challenge is it good information or bad information? And that's you putting the faith and the trust in the source of that information. But you need to have an understanding of who your customers are going to be. We call that whole process establishing customer touch points. And that's the very last module that we deal with. Module number 9 is the official title is Start Developing Your Customer Touch Points. First you understand who it is, then you have to understand how to start to develop them. Do you know how to compute the financial break-even point for your business? We're not going to go into a lot of detail. It is a topic of discussion in one of our modules, module 3 or 4, but you have to understand what your break-even point is. Your break-even point is how much money needs to be generated to cover all your expenses. Not until you cover expenses do you then start to make a profit. That's what your break-even point is, and there's different ways to calculate that. The break-even point we'll get into further discussion in a later module. Do you know how to compute the startup cost for your business? Great question. Simple answer to the question is go to sba.gov and they will give you the information that you need. Well, they won't give you specific information, but they'll tell you what you need, and you will have to put those numbers together for yourself. It's a great exercise that you need to do. Do you know about the various loan programs that are available from banks in your area and the SBA? If you don't, you will find that information on their website, or you can go to a bank. We're going to talk about in a later module about community banks. Very clearly, the future of small business lending and loans are going to come from community banks. They provide that money now. They're going to become ever so more important as the big banks get larger. I did business up until, I'm still doing a little business, but not much, with one of the top 10, actually I think the top 7 largest banks in the country. They were at a branch, well, they actually got started in my hometown of Cincinnati. And I stopped doing business with them until they became business unfriendly to me for the second time. The first time I kind of let it ride. The second time where they became very, very small business unfriendly to me, I decided to cease doing business with that bank. And I'm doing business with another bank. But look for a community bank in your community if you need money. Community banks were originally started because as the merchants of that particular community got together, they wanted to find a safe place where their money they could deposit their money, it would be protected, and in fact their money would grow. They would get interest paid on their money. The very earliest banks were community banks. And as those community banks grew and grew and grew, some of them then started buying other banks, and then they became regional banks, then they became national banks, whatever it might be. But find a community bank. As a matter of fact, if you Google search community bank, you might get to a website that they have, and you can put in your zip code, and they will tell you what community bank you should be talking to in your neighborhood. Do you know how to prepare and or interpret a balance sheet? We're not going to talk about that. It's a very significant concept that I waited too long in life to find how to do that. Do you understand how a business loan can impact your credit? We're not going to give a long answer to that, but there's a direct tie, and you can't get a loan for your business today. You could in the old days. I did it. I've only had one bank loan in my life, and that was in 1978. I was a young whippersnapper. I had a business plan. I actually wrote a plan. It wasn't a very detailed plan. It was probably about 10 pages. I took it to a bank where I lived. It was a pretty good-sized bank. They didn't know me. My family or myself had never done business with that bank. But the banker I spoke to believed in the story that I was telling him about my vision for a publishing business, about starting a magazine. And within 24 hours, he gave me a check for $10,000. That was back in 1978. Those days are long gone. They don't exist anymore. You heard me say just a few minutes ago that you need a detailed plan to get money from a bank. I am going to once again stop this recording.